My phone is. Okay, welcome back to Storytime with Two-Seater. My name is Caleb. I'm the director, producer, and editor for Two-Seater. We've been going through the American classic, Diary of a Wimpy Kid. This is the 5th day we've been reading it, and we're actually going to finish it up today. So, during the live, if you have any questions, just put it in the chat. I'm willing to stop and answer your question. And if you're watching this after the fact, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe because we really need it. All right. April, Friday. Ever since the worm incident, Raleigh has been hanging out with Colin Lee every day after school. What really stinks is that Colin is supposed to be my backup friend. Those guys are acting totally ridiculous. Today, Raleigh and Colin were wearing these matching t-shirts and it made me just about want to vomit. It says best friends, and there's a picture of them on it. After dinner tonight, I saw Raleigh and Colin walking up the hill together, chumming it up. Colin had his overnight bag, so I knew they were going to do a sleepover at Raleigh's. And tonight, I thought, two can I play at that game? The best way to get back at Raleigh was to get a new best friend of my own. But unfortunately, the only person who came to mind right at that moment was Fregley. I went up to Fregley's with my overnight bag, so Raleigh could see I had other friend options too. When I got there, Fregley was in his front yard stabbing a kite with a stick. That's when I started to think maybe this wasn't the best idea after all. Fregley is literally not human. But Raleigh was in his front yard and he was watching me, so I knew there was no turning back. I invited myself into Fregley's house. His mom said she was excited to see Fregley with a playmate, which was a term I was not too enthusiastic about. See, Fregley's mom looks just like a normal person. I don't know where he gets that genes from. Maybe his dad. Me and Fregley went upstairs to his room. Fregley tried to get me to play Twister with him, so I made sure I stayed 10 feet away from him at all times. I decided that I should just pull the plug on this stupid idea and go home, but every time I looked out the window, Raleigh and Colin were still in Raleigh's front yard. I didn't want to leave until those guys went back inside, but things started to get out of hand with Fregley pretty quick. When I was looking out the window, Fregley broke into my backpack and ate a whole bag of jelly beans I had in there. Fregley's one of those kids who's not supposed to eat sugar, so 2 minutes later, he was bouncing off the walls. Fregley started acting like a total maniac and he chased me all around his upstairs. I kept thinking he was going to come down off of his sugar high, but he didn't. Eventually, I locked myself in his bathroom to wait it out. Around 11:30, it got quiet in the hallway. That's when Fregley slipped a piece of paper under the door. I picked it up and read it. Dear Gregory, I'm very sorry I chased you with a booger on my finger. Here, I put it on this paper so you can get me back. That's the last thing I remember before I blacked out. The booger's underneath his thumb. That's a classic moment in the movie. When Greg pulls his finger off the paper, that's such a good scene. That's the last thing I remember before I blacked out. I came to my senses a few hours later. What? After I woke up, I cracked the door open and I heard snoring coming from Fregley's room, so I decided to make a run for it. Mom and Dad were not happy with me for getting them out of bed at 2 in the morning, but by that point, I could really care less. Monday. Well, me and Raleigh have officially been ex-friends for about a month now, and to be honest with you, I'm better off without him. I'm glad I can just do whatever I want without having to worry about carrying all that dead weight around. Lately, I've been hanging out in Roderick's room after school and going through his stuff. The other day, I found one of his middle school yearbooks. Roderick wrote on everybody's picture in his yearbook so you can tell how he felt about all the kids in his grade. Jerk, cool. Every once in a while, I see Roderick's old classmates around town. I have to remember to thank Roderick for making church a lot more interesting. Jerk. In church. But the page in Roderick's yearbook that's really interesting is the class favorites page. That's where they put pictures of the kids who get voted most popular, most talented, and all that. Roderick wrote on his class favorites page too. Most likely to succeed. Nerd. Billy Watson and Kathy Nygren. Duh. Look at him. This class favorites thing really has got my gears turning. If you can get yourself voted onto the class favorites page, you're practically an immortal. Even if you don't live up to what you got picked for. It doesn't really matter because it's on a permanent record. People still treat Bill Watson like he's something special, even though he ended up dropping out of high school. We still run into him at the food barn every once in a while. Will that be paper? Plastic, ma'am. That's the same guy who was most likely to succeed. So here's what I'm thinking. This school year has been kind of a bust, but if I can get voted as class favorite, I'll go on a high note. I've been trying to think of a category I have a shot at. Most popular and most athletic are definitely out, so I have to find something that's a little bit more in reach. At first, I thought maybe I should wear really nice clothes for the rest of the year so I can get best dressed. But that would mean I would have to get my picture taken with Jenna Stewart, and she dresses like a pilgrim. Wow. Greg's close up. Wednesday. Last night I was lying in bed and it hit me. I should go for class clown. It's not like I'm known for being real funny at school or anything, but if I can pull off one big prank right before voting, that could do it. May. Thursday. Today I was trying to figure out how I was going to sneak a thumbtack under Mr. Worth's chair in history when he said something that made me rethink my plan. Mr. Worth told us he has a dentist's appointment tomorrow, so we're going to have a substitute. Subs are like comic gold. You can say just about anything you want and you can't get in trouble. Greg Heffley, will you please do this problem? Your mama, excuse me? Your big fanny granny. Well, I hardly think that you're slap happy grandpappy. Friday. I walked into my history class today, ready to execute my plan, but when I got to the door, guess who's the substitute teacher? Hi, honey bunches. His mom was the substitute teacher. How is that possible? Of all people in the world to be our sub today, it was mom. I thought mom's days off for getting involved at my school were over. She used to be one of those parents who came in to help out in the classroom, but that all changed after mom volunteered to be a chaperone for our field trip to the zoo when I was in third grade. Mom had prepared all sorts of material to help us kids appreciate different exhibits, but all anyone wanted to do was watch the animals go to the bathroom. Anyway, mom totally foiled my plan to win class clown. I'm just lucky there's not a category called biggest mama's boy, because after today, I'd win that one on a landslide. You forgot your lunch at home, honey. Oh. Wednesday, the school paper came out today. I quit my job as school cartoonist after the Great and the Curious Student came out. I didn't really care who they picked to replace me, but everyone was laughing at the comics page at lunch, so I picked up a copy to see what was so funny. And when I opened it up, I couldn't believe my eyes. It was the Zooey Mama. And of course, Mr. Ira didn't change a single word of Rowley's strip. Zooey Mama by Rowley Jefferson. Hey, beautiful lady, do you want to go on a date with me? I'm not just a lady. I am just one of those dogs with long hair, so no thanks to that date. Zooey Mama. That's not funny. So now Rowley's getting all the fame that was supposed to be mine. Will you put us in your comic? Sure. Even the teachers are kissing Rowley's butt. I almost lost my lunch when Mr. Worth dropped his chalk in history class and yelled, Zooey Mama. Monday. The Zooey Mama thing has really got me worked up. Raleigh is getting all the credit for a comic that we came up with together. I figured the least he could do was put my name on the strip as the co-creator. So I went up to Raleigh after school and told him that's what he's gonna have to do. But Raleigh said Zooey Mama was all his idea, so that I didn't have to do anything with it. That is the most annoying thing I've heard since yesterday. That's just sad on Raleigh's part. So I went up to Raleigh, blah blah blah. I guess we must have been talking pretty loud because the next thing you knew, we attracted a crowd. They're all yelling at them to fight. The kids at my school are always itching to see a fight. Me and Raleigh tried to walk away, but those guys weren't going to let us go until they saw us throw some punches. I've never been in a real fight before, so I didn't know how I was supposed to stand or hold my fists or anything. And you could tell Raleigh didn't know what he was doing either because he just started prancing around like a leprechaun. I was pretty sure I could take Raleigh in a fight, but the thing that made me nervous was the fact that Raleigh takes karate. I don't know what kind of hocus pocus they teach you in Raleigh's karate classes, but the last thing I needed was for him to lay me out right on the blacktop. Before me or Raleigh made a move, there was a screeching sound in the school parking lot. A bunch of teenagers had stopped their pickup truck and started piling out. I was just happy that everyone's attention was on the teenagers instead of me and Raleigh, but all the other kids took off when the teenagers started heading our way. And then I realized that these teenagers looked awfully familiar. That's when it hit me. These were the same guys who chased me and Raleigh around on Halloween night, and they had caught up with us. Before we could make a run for it, we had our arms pinned behind our backs. Those guys wanted to teach us a lesson for taunting them on Halloween, and they started arguing over what they should do with us. Is everybody running? And then there's them being caught. But to be honest with you, I was more concerned about something else. The cheese was only a few feet from where we were standing on the blacktop, and it was looking nastier than ever. The big teenager must have caught my eye because the next thing I knew, he was looking at the cheese too. I guess that gave him the idea he was looking for. Raleigh got singled out first. The big kid grabbed Raleigh and dragged him over the cheese. Now, I don't want to say exactly what happened next because if Raleigh ever tries to run for president and someone finds out what these guys made him do, he won't have a chance. So I'll put it to you this way. They made Raleigh blank 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 the cheese. What a classic kids book thing to do. It's effective. You find out who it is, but it's indirect enough to relieve you of all blame. He ate the cheese. They made him eat the cheese. So I knew they were going to make me do it too. I started to panic because I wasn't going to be able to fight my way out of this situation. So I did some fast talking instead. I would, but I'm allergic to dairy. And believe it or not, that actually worked. You're lucky, punk. Wow. Gui from Brazil? You have no idea how much videos help me. Are you serious? No way. That is the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life. Really? Oh my gosh. Dude. That just made my day. That just literally just made my day. Oh my gosh. I wonder if there's anything like that we say in videos or like stuff like that that you've picked up and there's just like California California lingo somewhere in Brazil because you're saying it now. Instead, just everyone who's learning English is just gonna pick up on it. Wow. If you have any funny moments that you liked or something that you said that you thought was funny, please let me know because that is insane to me. You're just literally posted in Brazil watching me read a stupid kid's book. Oh. Yes, please tell me your favorite moment or favorite something that we've said in English. Because I'm just genuinely interested because that's insane. I guess the teenagers were satisfied that they had made their point because after they made Raleigh finish off the rest of the cheese, they let us go. They got back in their truck and they took off down the road. Me and Raleigh walked home together, but neither one of us really said anything on the way back. Idioms? I don't even remember what an idiom is. But props to you for learning another language and for wanting to learn English because I would want to learn. If I didn't speak English, I don't know if I would want to learn to speak English. Yeah. But neither one of us really said anything on the way back. I thought about mentioning to Raleigh that maybe he could have pulled out a couple of his karate moves back there, but something told me to hold off for that thought right now. Raleigh's quaking. He's quaking. Tuesday. At school today, the teachers let us outside after lunch. It took about 5 seconds for someone to realize the cheese was missing from its spot on the blacktop. Hey! Everybody crowded around to look at where the cheese used to be. Nobody could believe it was actually gone. People started coming up with these crazy theories about what happened to it. Somebody said that maybe the cheese grew legs and walked away. List of faves goes on and on. I usually take notes on different ways of saying things, you know? It helps me sound more natural and native like. Different ways of saying things. Okay. I would say, I don't know if I have an accent. Obviously, I do compared to other people, but I definitely have slang terms and ways of saying things that people wouldn't say them. I don't know them offhand like you're saying. You may know some because like you're taking notes, but like I don't know if you've heard you may have heard enough English, you may not have heard enough English to be like thanks. You may not have heard enough English to be like, oh yeah, like this person's from the East Coast of North America. This person's from the West Coast, which obviously I'm on the West Coast of North America. Okay. It took all my self control to keep my mouth shut, and if Raleigh wasn't standing right there, I honestly don't know if I could have kept quiet. The people. Oh, disgusting what happened to the cheese. A couple of guys who were arguing over what happened to the cheese were the same ones who were egging me and Raleigh on yesterday afternoon. So I knew it wasn't going to be long before someone put two and two together, and I figured out that we must have had something to do with it. Raleigh was starting to panic, and I don't blame him either. If the truth ever came out about how the cheese disappeared, Raleigh would be finished. He'd have to move out of the state and maybe even the country. That's when I decided to speak up. I told everyone that I knew what happened to the cheese. I said I was sick of it being on the blacktop and I just decided to get rid of it once and for all. For a second there, everyone just froze. I thought people were going to start thanking me for what I did, but boy, was I wrong. I really wish I had worded my story a little differently because if I threw away the cheese, guess what that meant? It meant I have the cheese touch. Ah, no! Technically, he didn't. June, Friday. Well, if Rowley appreciated what I did for him last week, he hasn't said it. But we've started hanging out after school again, so I guess that means me and him are back to normal. I can honestly say that so far, having the cheese touch hasn't been all that bad. It got me out of doing the square dance unit in PE because no one would partner up with me, and I had the whole lunch table to myself every day. Today was the last day of school, and they handed out yearbooks after 8th period. I flipped to the class favorites, and here's the picture that was waiting for me. Class clown, Rowley Jefferson, Zooey Mama. All I can say is if anyone wants a free yearbook, they can dig one out of the trash can in the back of the cafeteria. You know, Rowley can have class clown for all I care, but if he ever gets too big for his britches, I'll just remind him that he was the guy who ate the blank 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 CHEESE ate the cheese. Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's the end of the book. Actually, a pretty much shorter session. That was Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the American classic. That book was pretty great. It's got a lot of good themes in there, and I enjoyed reading it. I do not have the next book, which is Roderick Rules. Nevertheless, I do have Diary of a Wimpy Kid Dog Days. A great one. A great one. I will be on vacation until next Wednesday. Hi, Corey. I will be on vacation until next Wednesday, starting tomorrow. So I'll probably bring this and see if I can find some time to read it with you guys. If not, watch season 1 of Two-Seater Time. It's really funny. Subscribe, please. Like all our videos. It would mean a lot. I know. You can go back and watch the now 5 videos of everything that we've read. It didn't even take that long. It was like a couple, of course. I don't even know how to pronounce your name, Ms. Batista or Mr. Batista, and I feel awful about it. But I feel great that you said you're picking up a lot of words and how my videos are helping you learn English. That really means a lot. I'll keep doing this then because obviously it's helping someone. So that's it. I'll see you guys probably next Monday. Okay.